Hello guys. So today I wanted to kind of talk. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on armor sets, and every video I see on armor sets, it's always about how to get the max damage, use critical up, use these things, and this is how it will give you the max damage, and each one is maybe slightly different between great swords and long swords and hammers and charge blades, but as far as it goes, they are all the same, talking about max damage. And I understand, yes, damage is important. You don't want to take the Iron Katana in and try and fight a Valhazak. You don't you don't want to, take it, take the first stage of a weapon to fight an Elder Dragon. Yeah, you're not gonna have enough damage. There's no way you'll finish in 50 minutes, even if you have four people doing it. It won't happen. But, or maybe it'll happen with a couple of seconds left in the 50-minute quest. Now, it's important. And in this video, I'm just kind of showing some random gameplay for the most part. This is me fighting a Nargigante, and you can see what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up breaking both his horns off, cutting his tail, and the reason that I'm showing this is because the set I'm using has Part Breaker on it. So I'm using three pieces of Valhazak, the Urgon chest, and the Black Diablo's Tacit to get Part Breaker. And I do this because I was trying to get Horn Pluses. When I was doing it with a group of people, we were having a really hard time. And I think if I really concentrated on the horns by myself, it seems a lot easier by yourself to break parts. Whereas with four people or any time online, you just kind of all have to be working on that one part. And then normally I'm cutting tails with four people, mainly all working on a tail. We're kind of cutting them right about the time that it's starting to limp. So it seems a little bit harder there. So that's part of the reason. But doing this by breaking both his horns and cutting his tail off, I got horn pluses every time in my rewards, and I probably ended up after farming him to get his full armor set with like 4 gems. And you'll notice in the hunter notes, it almost always will show gems or rubies with not just that on the tail, but on the head and maybe the wings if they're breakable. Because if you break all of these parts, you have a higher chance of getting them. So by using Part Breaker on this, I'm helping myself out. I'm helping myself get more materials. Whatever it is I need, I'm going to concentrate on breaking. Then once that's broken, maybe break other stuff, and that helps me get better material and better rewards. So there's a point not to just go for just straight max damage. All I worry about is max damage. And why? I don't know if it's because now you have this actual number to your swing, so you see how much damage you're putting out, and you think maybe that, oh, I'm not doing that much, or I get more by adding my critical hits are this much more, so if I have, a higher critical or affinity to get more critical hits, I'm going to do so much more damage. But damage isn't the only thing. And I'm not 100% sure, and I've heard people say it both ways, that the number does include your elemental or the number does not include your elemental. So I'm not sure on that. But for me, I've always thought at least, and of course before you didn't really have this number counter in older games, such as Monster Hunter Portable Third, when you hit a monster, you didn't have any idea how much damage you were doing. But I always felt like I killed monsters so much faster, even if my sword was half as strong. If the monster was weak against ice, I had ice element to it. a decent amount of ice element. So I've always felt that that's better. It's better to do that. Make some sets that have fire attack on them, or thunder attack, or ice attack. Or make a set like this that, you know, in this next clip, you're going to see that I have this set. It's a brief little clip. And I have the botany skill and I have the geologist skill, and it makes it so I can, mine at mining points 4 times instead of 3. It makes it so that I'm getting double the amount of gatherable items every time I gather. So when I go on an expedition, because I want to be able to make more pitfall traps, I need more ivy. Instead of spending an hour running in loops, going to the spots, getting the ivy, running back to a camp, waiting for them to respawn, I'm doing it in half the time. So that's my point of view on armor.